Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Virtue's Last Reward. So, we went through several paths, and now we are back to what I guess is the first AB game. It's AB game round one, which is kind of questionable because I guess that means we had to go through a chromatic door first after we had done the first escape room, which doesn't change the path. Um, so we're gonna betray, which will put us down these two paths, and we'll see how drastically that really changes the story.
Choose betray.
Like, Fi told us at the very beginning to choose betray. Um, the question, I suppose, would be, would she have said something different here, or is this novel section in this horizontal line pretty much exactly the same? At a certain level, it kind of feels like unless you make a different choice as far as what chromatic door you go through, and the chromatic doors do seem like the things that affect the story in the large ways, you just won't have a good enough lineup in which characters will be paired up in a certain way to actually end up um, voting ally. And without everybody voting ally at the same time, or everybody voting betray at the same time, it scores people differently. And as soon as somebody has a different amount of scores, then they become untrustworthy. Hmm.
We don't know if she'll ally or not.
We don't even know. I don't even know who our competition is.
If we choose ally and she chooses betray,
Hmm.
we're screwed.
Hmm.
That's a loss of 2 points.
Um, I think it's Luna.
You tell me, Sigma. What's 3
Hmm.
minus 2?
Hmm. It's one, obviously.
Exactly.
Try and
If
jump
our
through a lot of
BP
this
gets down to
text.
1, it's over.
Why is it
So,
over? Wait. What do you mean it's over?
30 seconds remain until Ambidex Game polling closes.
See, this is the point where Fi shows she knows more than she should by saying,
just press the damn button.
if you get down to zero, you die. Hmm. Yeah. But we kind of know who killed the old lady. Hmm.
Fine. If you won't do it, then I...
Don't think so. I'm not gonna move until you give me some answers. This... Uh, this really seems like we would just get the same dialogue over and over again.
10 seconds remain. 9, 8, 7, 6,
And she's just not gonna respond to your questions.
3, 2.
When your BP hits 0, you die.
Hmm.
That's what I meant.
And she tells you.
1.
And she somehow speaks an entire sentence in 1 second, which literally the voice acting uh, does go to show that you couldn't actually have said that in 1 second. We're going betray because it's the second option, because we've done all the other options. And we're either betraying Luna,
Has been completed.
which potentially might save Luna from being murdered. We've seen her basically get murdered, I think, in every timeline.
Will be displayed in the
It'd be surprising if that
Thank you for
saved
your
Alice.
participation.
I feel like it's potentially just gonna.
Now opening.
It's just gonna potentially kill somebody else instead. As I stepped out of the AB room, I could see those running towards the mother, shoving and pushing to get closer. Tomoji was left behind, his footsteps a slow, heavy plod. This is past the point, though, where we found the dead lady. What had happened to make him like that? Were you telling the truth? If our BP hits 0, do we?
You chose betray because of what I said, right? Don't worry. You made the right choice.
Better not have lied to me, so I'd choose betray.
Well, 0 will tell you if I lied or not.
Zero.
Yo, what's up? Siggy!
This is also the point where we still have Zero Jr. and he's giving nicknames to everybody except for Quark.
Oh! Hey, what are you kids doing over there? We're about to announce the results.
Let's just go ahead and go in auto mode.
You'll see in a minute. Let's go, Sigma.
Hey, what do you mean Zero's gonna tell me? Hey, Phi, hold on. Damn it. Yeah, it does feel like she might have even more flashbacks now. And might be even more intelligent. Although it might just be that she isn't actually remembering other time loops and she just knows everything because she is Zero or something.
If everybody would please direct their eyes to this monitor.
And see, that's like the only time you see Quark. So Kay and Alice betray. So every single pair betrayed and every single solo allied, which balances out pretty poorly for Alice and Luna. But also, in all fairness, we've seen Alice, Luna, Tomoji, Clover die in pretty much every timeline, so it might not really matter.
Here are the results from your game. Now, let us check the numbers on our bracelets.
It now becomes fairly difficult to try to rebalance all of that. And you would think that that choice in particular would leave multiple paths where you might be able to get 9 points and leave everybody else behind.
Why did you and Phi do that? All we had to do was choose ally 3 times, and we could all escape together.
See, Luna figured that out, but clearly nobody else.
We only would have needed 2 more rounds, and we would have all had 9 points. But now why?
I hung my head. This is new dialogue, but I'm not sure how much of this is really going to be. There's no way that I could look in her eye and try and explain what I'd done.
It was me. I told him to betray you. What? There's a way to get out faster. If you're successful twice with betray, you'll get 3 points each time, which gives you 6. That means you'll have 9 BP after the second AB game. I know that. Is that why you chose betray? So you can escape before the rest of us? Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to get out first or anything. Just wanted to have a little leverage.
Yeah, and the idea of playing leverage games is an unhealthy idea, certainly.
How is leverage supposed to help you? Well, I was planning on getting out of here with everybody else, and You're lying. What makes you think I'm going to believe that?
Their eyes met for a long moment, but all I could see in Luna's was sadness and disappointment. Phi opened her mouth, then shut it again, and looked away. I was about to apologize to Luna when...
Hey,
Alice?
what were you thinking?
I'm sorry, Alice. I didn't think you'd choose ally.
What? You really think I'd betray you?
See, this dialogue feels different, but in all fairness, like, it's been like 9 to 12 hours of going through different timelines, so I can't remember if this dialogue that would have happened on this branch is actually playing any different than this dialogue here, which kind of does also go to show that a significant portion, if not almost all, of the dialogue in any novel section in the same row is potentially repeated content.
Well, no. That's what I thought at first.
But Kay told you to choose betray, didn't he?
Yes, I did. I was sure you would vote similarly.
Are you listening? I'm not
betray against Clover.
Is that so? You never considered that we might choose to betray you?
See, this does feel like different dialogues.
Clover would never choose that, of course. But what if I was your sole opponent? I understand it might seem strange of me to say this. But
See,
your trusted
looking
man
at Alice's
behind his
top of her
face.
head, that fades into the black background so much. That was a poor choice of background color. Just, I could see that mistake certainly being made, but it could have been fairly fixed just by having palettes and saying, hey, the color of each character's hair should not be in the same palette or anywhere close to the same palette as the other character, as the backgrounds. Same is true, there should be a whole palette that the artist would have had for all their clothing and their skin and anything that should make the characters stand out in the foreground. And they should have known that, frankly, particularly since this game is talking about color the whole time.
If I were in your position,
But it doesn't happen a lot either.
I'm certain my masked opponent would choose betray.
Well, but it wasn't just you. Clover was there too.
Yes, she was. But if I'd chosen to end an argument by force, do you think she would have had any chance? I was certain you'd choose betray for that very reason.
Interesting. But we kind of know Kay is not the best of people either.
So that was why you didn't.
It's kind of funny. We went in one timeline, got his great background, and the timeline right before that, in which we got his entire backstory,
Yes.
we saw him escape and leave everybody behind.
He was thinking to me. I thought he had a good point.
It's all right. I understand.
I'm so sorry.
I apologize. This is very unfortunate.
The past is the past. There's no point complaining about it.
The game, I suppose, is trying to hint to the player here that had Clover and Kay not been paired together, which at a certain point I'd like to see the solos in this vote in particular, because Clover and Kay would have been paired together, so the only thing that could be different is it could have been Clover and Kay against Luna, or Clover and Kay versus who's the other one? Tomoji, maybe? I don't know who the third
I'll
solo
just
is.
have to try and get those points back in the next AB game.
And see, they wouldn't be really that upset. Dio, Cork, and Tomoji. Yeah, it was Tenmoji that was the solo. So, could have been Kay and Clover versus Tomoji, or it could have been Kay and Clover versus Luna. I don't know what would have convinced Kay to not vote against someone. Although I guess his backstory does say that he had a father at one point and a mother, so maybe Luna would have reminded him reminded Kay subconsciously of his mother, and that would have caused him not to vote, betray. But it really feels like everybody's gonna just betray in the first vote in every branch.
Let me give you a little warning, Tenmoji. That little shit is a hell of an actor.
And so, interestingly, in this path, I feel like the main character, Sigma, actually is paying attention to different conversations. So, because there definitely was text before this point, where Dio said this line to Tomoji, and Sigma in the other branches heard those lines of text. So, even though there are vast amounts of time in between each AB game and when chromatic doors open, there seems to be a real factor about your choices affecting whether or not you're early or late to other conversations, and that then informs what you
I'll
know.
bet you money he's a born con man. I don't know what he is to you, but if I were you, I'd trust that kid as far as I can throw him. And at your age, that can't be much. You hearing me, old man? Keep an eye on him.
It looked like things hadn't gone to plan for the other teams either. Nonetheless, we all seem to have reached some sort of truce.
Zero, when does the next round start?
What makes you think we'll be having another round?
You'd have to
Well,
have
you
one.
said round one. If there's a round one, then there's likely
We'll
a
go.
round
We
two.
can go into auto mode in this point, I imagine.
Didn't you say the goal of the AB game was to get 9 BP? That's impossible without a second round.
Yeah, I guess you got a point. You're right. There will be a second round.
When?
I don't know.
Why not?
The voting happens when an AB gate opens.
They're already open.
Right, you are. So, let me just close them.
In that line, it said "m" in English, not "them," which shows a slight inconsistency in the voice acting versus the dialogue. I kind of wish the announcers talked faster. I feel like the sun cards and the moon cards and the star cards might have some use later.
Cards with moons on them.
So, how many times do we play the AB game?
I don't know. As many times as you need to. It's anybody's guess how long it'll go. I plan on keeping this party going until somebody opens the number 9 door.
So it's over when someone gets 9 BP.
Nope. As long as that person doesn't open the number 9 door, the game goes on.
See, Zero tells them right up there.
You could also get stuck just below 9 BP, where everybody just keeps going back and forth and you're losing points.
Like, all you have to do is just cooperate and let everybody get 9 PP, and you will all be able to leave at the same time. Which, it'd be really funny if we were kind of funneled into innings where everybody does get 9 PP and leaves at the same time, and then you find out actually that's a bad ending too. And then that's not really the goal of the game.
I don't know. Can you?
See. Let's see if we can hit the A buttons and skip through all of this.
Nope. There aren't any rules about how many people can go through that door. It could be 1 person, or 2 people, or even all 9 of you.
Yeah, they really make it clear.
There is one thing to see. All that stuff about how you have to have 3 people to go through the secondary kinetic doors. Maybe it's not 100% true. Well, you can open the door with just 1 or 2 people if you want.
That's not what you told us.
Well, I didn't want to make things complicated.
Then explain it now.
Just use the bracelets.
What? How?
There's a sort of scanner between the 2 doors. It checks to see if the right people are going through. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's scanning the right people.
So, it's scanning the bracelets then?
Ding ding ding! As long as the scanner sees the right combination of bracelets, it doesn't matter how many people there are!
No, they doing
So, yeah, we're just getting like a recap.
As soon as you're out.
It's kind of ridiculous to rewind back this far, frankly. Like, I kind of wish that they had put a lot of the conversation in this novel section above the first AB section, because I don't think I can jump to areas I haven't been, so I either have to go into skip mode or auto mode here. And had they put a lot more of the explanation and tutorial mode up at the very beginning where you wouldn't have to hear it again, that probably would have been nice, particularly since a lot of this information isn't likely to be forgotten.
What's the second one?
I think you all.
What?
Do you really?
Of course I do.
No, well, it's easy. Nothing to it, really. You die.
Here's an exciting fact. Your heart creates.
You know what an electrocar technically. It's a machine.
Anyway, the point is that you.
There's enough technology in this place that feels like you could easily simulate a heart signal on the watch, even if someone wasn't wearing it. So there probably is technology that could do the opposite.
Goes away.
The lock on the bracelet releases, right?
Honestly, I would think you could probably just slip something that's non-conductive there. A piece of rubber, maybe even a piece of paper around your wrist. Maybe you slip a piece of metal under your wrist so the needles can't puncture it even if they try. Like, the bracelets might be on pretty tight, so there might not be a lot of wiggle room or any.
So there you go. The second way. Your heart stops. Your bracelet comes off. Apart from that, there's no other way to get the bracelets off. If you try something harebrained, like trying to break them or something, you'll be disobeying the rules.
So that's interesting. Somebody did break the bracelet.
I don't think I
And
need to
then
remind you what happens when you do that.
yet Zero Jr. didn't punish the person who broke
If you're lucky,
the bracelet in the
you
other
might see a few of
timeline.
them come off during the next round. Oops. I guess.
Let's just try and skip all of this.
Yep.
What do you mean?
Well, do I have to explain it? Somebody might die.
There. That's pretty clear, right? If I had to guess, I'd say it's going to be Tenbialdi. Or Alas. Or Mooney. Or maybe everyone.
He does mention everyone, so I guess that could... He is hinting that if nobody voted, everybody would die.
What?
Why? Yeah. Why am I going to die?
I guess I can tell you why. Anyone whose BP drops to 0 gets penalized, just like when you break the rules. I'm pretty sure I already told you what the penalty is.
Now, he says drops to 0. Does he mean 0 or less, or does he mean exactly 0? Is there a possibility that if you send yourself into -1 territory, then you would still be safe? That would be an interesting twist, certainly, but we haven't seen any evidence of it.
Correct, Siggy. Full marks.
So, Fi had been right. But how had she known that before Zero told us?
I see. Alice, Luna, and I only have 1 BP. That means we'd have less than 0 if we lost 2 points.
What? What the hell? This is important stuff. Why didn't you tell us about this earlier?
Sorry.
They could have also fixed the problem with Alice's top of her head hair by either having her hair match her fingernail color as a lighter cyan color, or simply by painting the backgrounds in this room in particular so that there was just a stripe in that in the center. That could have also fixed the color palette issue, certainly.
Sorry's not going to cut it.
Although the stripe would be visually distracting.
I thought you were supposed to tell us the rules, not hide them.
Well,
Is there anything else you conveniently left out? It's not fair to make people play a game without explaining all the rules.
I think it's fair. After all, it's not like anybody else knew,
Well, wait a minute. Fi did know.
right?
And see, he directly
Fido?
he directly asks
Yeah,
Fi, did she know the rules
I
before?
guess so.
I took a moment to go over everything in my head. See, this is new information potentially whenever he thinks. AB game will continue until someone opens the number 9 door. There are no rules on how many people could pass through the number 9 door. That means it's possible for everyone to escape. The secondary chromatic doors could be opened by any number of people, so as long as you have the right bracelets. The bracelets would only unlock under 2 conditions: if you left the building or your heart stopped. Well, the bracelet being taken off of Quark does open up scenarios where we, I suppose, could take Quark through a chromatic door as long as we don't have his bracelet, and could take him through any door matching. If your BP hits 0, the needles and bracelets would activate, killing you.
Oh, one last thing. The next set of chromatic doors you'll be going through are downstairs. You already saw them, right? There should have been 3. Red, blue, and green. That means that to get through, you'll need bracelets in cyan, magenta, and yellow.
And I feel like this is going to let me go through the red door,
You've already got those bracelets.
but
Have a look. The color's changed, hasn't it?
so maybe the colors have changed now based on your voting? Yeah, it did change. Mine is changed from red to cyan,
Me too. Mine's cyan now.
and now I'm paired with Alice.
Mine too.
Or Clover
Wait.
cyan.
I guess the colors weren't the only thing that changed. It switched from pair to solo.
You're right. Mine switched from solo to pair.
Mine is now a solo as well.
Yep, looks like mine's changed too.
See, I don't know if the orientation here has changed in E
Gone
or
from
not.
Solo to pair.
I might very well
still
end
here.
up.
The 3 of us seem to be magenta now as well.
I'm yellow. And it still says solo.
That seems different.
Fi, you and Dio are yellow now too, right? Yeah.
Looks like I'm a pair.
When did they change?
Back when the AB gates closed. As soon as the gates close, your colors get all shuffled up automatically. The pair and solo assignments hop around a bit too.
Is there a possibility that at a certain point the AB gates won't close and you will have the same groups and pairs forever? That could be a twist, certainly, at the end. Like after the 3rd round, the 4th round, maybe the same people voting against the same people over and over again, to the point where there is no way to fix an imbalance. Somebody is going to have to sacrifice their BPs to let someone else get 9 points. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
And of course, it's totally random. No rules or anything.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that.
Now, with all of that explained, I must bid you adieu. Sadly, we may never meet again.
Just going to skip through all this because this is it's all pointless.
See you guys again.
I feel like that's probably a lie too.
Did you really think I was gonna cry? Sucker! As if I'd cry over you dummies.
What the? You character.
You mad? Oh. I may be gone, but I'm always watching. Maybe I'll see you again someday. Have a nice tragedy.
The end here is tragedy. Is that randomized each time? Because I thought it was trap at the end of this conversation, but who could tell, really? If you really have to pay attention so extremely to every single word said in a visual novel, oh, I'm definitely not going to be successful at visual novels at that level.
So what happens now? We've still got a while until the chromatic doors open.
See, and then the game gives you 42 minutes
we should go
to
and see if we can find any other exits.
To goof around.
Maybe there's a vent or a disposal chute or something.
This feels like a different suggestion than before.
Zero missed something.
I concur. There's no point in standing around. We lose nothing by looking, and if we find nothing, we can always return and go through the chromatic doors.
Let's split
And
up. 5 minutes would give us a good half hour or so. Let's meet in front of the chromatic doors 5 minutes before they open then. Any objections?
It's at this point, once everybody leaves, that the AB room gets moved from the furthest from the left to the one on the right. We assume that that's the only shuffling that happens. And I think the only point really here, how did I end up here? Why me? Like, would there be any point to shuffling around the AB rooms anymore? We've already seen this. Because we already know that Dio killed the old lady, unless somehow there's going to be a completely different timeline in which the old lady is still alive and Dio didn't kill her, or the old lady is dead and someone else killed her. But it becomes hard to believe that that's really going to be the case. We do know Dio claims somebody told him to ordered him to kill the old lady, so there could be easily 2 bad guys in this group. There were 2 bad guys in the previous game. Yeah, this internal dialogue, once you've seen it once, becomes becomes fairly pointless. Yeah. In a game like this, I'd almost want, with every gameplay loop, to have a long script. And then I would want to just tag conversations like this, where once we'd heard it once, it just said, no, it's not important. I don't need to think about that right now. And then it just skipped out what is 3 walls of text here for no reason. I suppose this is supposed to be the backstory for Sigma, without really giving any major backstory to Sigma. In all fairness, Sigma may not have any major backstory. But yeah. Like, for a game like this, going in an opposite direction and instead of revealing more in each playthrough, actually eliminating the unimportant and revealing the important would be potentially intriguing. We do know that Fi said she was kidnapped on December 25th, which, I mean, for all we know, it is golems and robots that kidnapped him, so there could have been multiple robots that kidnapped multiple people at the same time, or it could just be people in general, multiple people in general, or it's still very possible that the year at which people were kidnapped is considerably different. Just a ton of wall text up here. Seems really pointless, and would have been really nice, at least in this scene, to have the main character voiced. Like, you could potentially have created a split where if you were asked to say something or be in a conversation, it doesn't voice act, but if you go into a long monologue, it should unlock something. I feel like there is a point, and I'm not sure the message or the idea got fully embraced in here, that they very well may have gotten feedback in the first game that the main character was too young and harder to relate to, and that's why they aged up Sigma to about 22. But then they kind of don't take that message at all when they throw in Quark and Clover, at best as 18. And in a murder game story, I don't think it is helpful to have any kids, because honestly it would be very believable if Quark couldn't comprehend or cope or understand the puzzles at all, even the simplistic escape room puzzles. It'd be believable if even some of the adults in this group were just as dumb as Dio seems to be. It's also fair to say that these games are not going anywhere as edgy as I thought they were going to go. Honestly, I thought playing 999 we would eventually get down to a point where it was Jigsaw styles murder traps where people are having to chop off limbs and dying, and you're seeing bloody and gore. And I guess I was probably expecting too much from a Japanese developer to ever do that. I feel like a Japanese writer, a Junji Ito, like horror manga author, could probably write a story like that, and but then he would have to hand it over to either, I don't know, Filipino animation group or a Korean animation group that would be more willing to show gore, or a Western animation group to animate it. Because I think they'd be willing to do it in text, but I don't think the Japanese animators particularly would want to go in that direction. And you kind of see that with the Resident Evil series too, is that once they let the Western team make Resident Evil 7, that was a game that was much more darker and horror based, whereas increasingly Resident Evil games before 7 were becoming more cartoony and action based. Okay, so this is interesting because we can go anywhere, and it seems like your choice probably doesn't matter any. Even though it seems like there might be a time solution here. I mean, and in the flow we would have already done the lounge on hard. So I'm just going to go top choice first always. Because it doesn't seem like it really changes anything, and if it does change something, the game really needs to drastically tell us that is what's going to happen. It could be the doors you go through at the beginning turn into the people you get paired up later, but you'd have to really pay attention to figure that out.
You were here earlier, right?
And I think I think you get the same conversations in every room if there is a conversation. Anyways.
Secret pathway or something.
Like, ideally, I would just like to skip all of this, and
Anything out of the ordinary.
it is hard to believe. This is a whole conversation about the Radical Six and the eclipse. Let's see.
This New Year's Eve, then. Wait, what did you say? What do you mean 6 days?
Wait a minute. When were you grabbed? Yeah.
I was abducted in the middle of the night on December 22nd.
I think it was the 20th.
Then we were all taken on different days.
Maybe they kept us on a Soparil IV drip or something?
In theory, you could have everyone wake up at the same time if you got the dosage right.
They might not even be the
I think
25th.
that's likely.
Yeah. Some of us were probably abducted after you.
And see, this is just another point that never
You too?
gets
I
explained.
felt disoriented since I woke up. My body doesn't feel right.
Maybe it's because we were asleep for so long. Your muscles start to atrophy if you don't use them.
Yeah.
Beats me.
But I don't think this conversation is really different. Honestly, if it was just a gameplay conceit where it says, it feels like I've already had this conversation, would you like to skip it? Or just you have had this conversation already? Although I guess at a certain point, if you're just skipping all of the text in skip mode, you're going to really lose the plot even worse than you probably will lose the plot anyways.
Nah, nothing in the quarters.
Nothing in the crew
There was
quarters.
a book about a cat.
A cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Something
didn't
about a
see
cat in the
that
box and whether it's dead or
ever.
alive. Didn't make any sense to me though. Yeah, I didn't think so either.
How about the infirmary?
Well, actually, there was one thing.
So would that have been the point where the injector was stolen by Dion? No.
What?
I wasn't trying to hide it. The right moment to mention it just never came up.
Just tell us what you found.
Well, see for yourself.
The Radical 6 newspaper article.
Yeah, it was in the safe in the infirmary.
Let me see that. Radical 6 infection spreads. Cure continues to elude authorities.
And yet, the article is not dated, apparently.
Just read the article.
I guess we have to change things up, don't we? Next choice, I will take the bottom choice instead of the next topmost choice. And we'll see if that gives us any other dialogue. Otherwise, I'm just haphazardly forcing myself to see the same conversations. And honestly, I would prefer to not do that.
You think we got infected with this Radical 6 thing?
If we are going to try and
we don't know anything
go
for
through
sure,
everything, it might also be easier
look
to
at us.
find
We seem pretty healthy.
paths where we
Admittedly,
don't
I
have
don't know what the symptoms of
conversations
Radical
if the
6 are,
conversations are
but if it's
pointless.
killing people worldwide, they must be horrific. Now, just look at this soft, lustrous skin. This perfect, shapely face. Does this beauty look like something infected with an awful disease?
The top of her head
You want to touch it. don't you, boy?
Also, still is,
See it in your eyes.
even in this background, is still an odd palette. Well, I'm feeling a little weird.
That could just be from sleeping for a couple of days. Or maybe it's a side effect of that drug. Besides, if this is where they ship people to quarantine them, don't you think there aren't enough, people? This thing is killing people all over the world, right? So why would there only be 9 of us here?
Yeah, I guess you have a point.
Think about it. Zero is forcing us to play this Nonary game. Why would the government quarantine people and then make them play a game?
I
It is.
wonder if perhaps there is some reasoning behind that line of dialogue in which the game just goes
Probably
a little
not.
perverted, and Alice tries to tease you, or does tease you. But I couldn't see a point to
That's
it.
true. I hope they're all right.
They could have also certainly had a white background when they're doing, or a black background when they're doing these rear view images
Me either.
of characters instead of a clear background. Yeah, we're just going through all the story, and I have increasingly not voiced out a lot of
If we
these,
want the truth, we need to find
a
more
lot of this
information.
dialogue, because I just don't think it's important dialogue at the moment. I think we'll more than likely have to go through almost every ending and then just take a
Alice and I are gonna
potential
stick around.
20-minute to an hour
Just in case you miss something.
break to just
I don't really
explain
feel like I can trust
my my understanding of the turn of events. Okay. So last time I went to the infirmary, so let's go to the crew quarters this time. And the way you do this is they never actually go back to the warehouse, which would have been the one thing that would have been helpful. And if I recall correctly, we maybe run into Moji, and that's it. And maybe we can have a bit more of a conversation as far as Quark's relationship to Tomoji. Huh? So these are the crew quarters, huh?
Oh, Sigma. What are you doing here?
Of course, maybe Tomoji won't talk to me because I betrayed somebody. Hey, come on, don't be like that. We aren't enemies, are we?
I wonder.
What happened to you, Tomoji? You've been acting weird ever since we found that lady's body.
Oh, you think so? Well, you sure it ain't just all in your head?
So far, this is all the same dialogue. Fine. Let's move on to something else then. You and Quark. Is he your grandkid?
No.
Why? Well, I mean, what do you think? He keeps calling you Grandpa, of course. I'm gonna wonder what the deal is. We all got kidnapped and brought here apparently for no reason. Now they're making us all play some sort of weird game. I'm just trying to find a little meaning in all of this nonsense. Still repeat dialogue here, that's it. So tell me, Tomoji, are you really Quark's grandpa? Nope, you just get interrupted at the exact same time, seemingly. Clover, Luna.
Sigma, where'd you come from?
Although this story might change slightly now that Luna is mad at me. Did you not want me to hear? Did you not want me here?
No, it's okay, I guess.
Hmm.
I just thought Tenmyoji was the only other person here. This is the crew quarters. I came here with Clover and Tenmyoji. We decided we'd split up to investigate.
Huh. Makes sense. So you find anything?
Zero.
What? Which one?
No, I meant I found 0 things.
What about you? Anything
I didn't
suspicious?
find anything either.
See, Luna does not seem to even change her attitude to you at all. regardless of whether you ally and betray. And I imagine that's the case with all the characters, is that they just could not possibly, in the multiple flows, write every single character to have a different attitude to you. Even if you were going to just give everybody a positive and negative way of saying the exact same thing, that still doubles your amount of writing.
Although, I guess you could say this whole facility is suspicious.
Yeah, you've got a point there. So why did you think Zero put all these puzzles and stuff all over the place?
Well, maybe solving all of these puzzles is part of the Nonary Game.
Really, I thought the Nonary Game was like a couple rounds of the AB game. Why would you need puzzles and stuff then? It's a good question. Well, what is the Nonary Game then? Why is Zero making us do all this?
Well, this is just speculation, but maybe it's for entertainment, so rich, powerful people can watch.
Well, we do know people are watching.
Yes. They're probably off in an opulent theater, watching us struggle while they drink brandy and eat caviar.
Oh, you think so, huh? So some rich bastards killed her off for kicks. What kind of a death is that?
Well, maybe her dying didn't have anything to do with the rest of the game.
It might be the case that that's the case.
No. Kay was right. If her dying wasn't part of all this, the rabbit would have said something. But what we get? Nothing. Just tells us to keep playing and disappears. I can only think of one reason he'd do that. Murdering her was always part of Zero's plans.
Yeah, we don't know if that's the case or not.
If you can think of another way all this fits, well, I'd love to hear it.
So you're saying that Zero Senior is the one who murdered the old lady?
Hell, it sure looks that way.
That means there's a 7 in 1 chance anybody could be the murderer.
Wait, 7?
Well, Alice and I can't be Zero.
Okay. I'll let the I part go, but you're gonna have to give me a little to convince me Alice can't be Zero.
What? Come on. Alice and I know each other.
This is just the same
How do you know each other?
dialogue still.
I guess you could say we're co-workers.
Where do you co-work?
Organization?
That's kind of vague. What kind of organization?
That's... I can't tell you.
What? What do you mean you can't tell us?
I can't tell you. Just forget about it, okay?
If it's a secret organization, by the way, you would have a better cover story than I can't tell you.
Tell us.
You'd just say, oh, we work at a pet saving charity, at a no-kill shelter or something. Just something that would make decent sense.
Because it's confidential. I promised I wouldn't tell.
Yeah, this line of dialogue in particular makes Clover come off as particularly dumb for her age. And it just makes her look suspicious. Look around you, Clover. You really think this is the time for playing it close to the chest?
Yeah. But what if the people you work for have something to do with what's going on here?
Yeah, you're right.
Interesting. She does consider that.
Maybe I should tell you.
So is she going to tell us something different because I came here earlier?
Sorry, but I just don't really trust you guys.
And I betrayed this time, so there's no reason for her to trust.
I mean, what if one of you is Zero? It could be any of you. Sorry. Anyway, I think that's enough about me and Alice. I just don't really feel like I can trust you guys. Maybe if that changes.
So if all the characters started getting flashbacks from other timelines, and then Clover does have kind of this subconscious mental imagery that she would be willing to trust us in this section, maybe she would reveal more. Although, frankly, all I think she's going to reveal is that she works for some kind of organization that was founded to stop Nonary Games from happening ever again, and maybe to accomplish something else based on the events of the first game.
That I can tell you. So, I guess I'll go now.
Go? Where are you going?
I don't know. I haven't really figured it out yet.
Then I'll be going too. Fine.
Yeah, that feels like maybe those last two sentences were different, but that's it. There she goes. So Tinmoji.
I don't trust you any more than she does.
Interesting. In other words, you aren't going to tell me anything, are you?
Sorry.
And see, we kind of know how this is a bad path because my betray action has bought me 0 trust. I left Emoji and head back to the hallway. There's so many questions I wanted to answer, but I was looking like I had to suffer in ignorance for a while longer. Besides, there was plenty of more immediate problems that needed my attention. I sighed and filed my questions away to be dealt with later. I needed to focus. There was only one room I hadn't visited yet. The infirmary. Yeah, that definitely felt like the same outcome. Which, honestly, it just kind of makes the whole thing feel like this is all stuff that could have been skipped. And it does feel like a lot of these novel sections should have been subdivided into more checkpoints. So it felt like you've made more progress when you move. How's it going? You guys find anything?
Mr. Sigma?
Nothing yet.
Oh.
Well, Alice, Clover, and I did go over this room quite thoroughly. I doubt you'll find any hidden hallways here.
We'll see if there's any different dialogue here. If there isn't, then
Well, I was concerned
it becomes questionable whether we need to go through this section ever again, or we can just skip through the whole thing.
Given what we know so far, you're the most likely candidate.
Fly, please. Why
Of course.
would I kill this woman?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying the evidence points
It-
to you right now.
It very well
If we
may
find
be
more
that we
evidence in the
never
future,
see
it could
sections
change.
like this again once we start going down a different branch. And there might very well be. Do you, any of you know who she is?
Beats me.
It
I've never
might be a
seen her
case for
I don't know her either.
a diversity spread. Interesting. He said he didn't know her. Like, had I, instead of rewinding and going through these endings and just trying to work my way from left to right, had I rewound all the way back to the beginning and done the leftmost branch on each path, so had I, after this leftmost branch over here that took me this far, which potentially is actually the good ending, had I then rewound all the way back to this point and gone this way and then tried to focus myself to go just that way, that might have been a little bit more of a different story. And then I could have gone this way and tried to go down this way, but that actually almost certainly would increase more redundancy and it confused the issue more. It's definitely not a recursive solution. So if Tinmoya knew that lady and Quark didn't, then she's probably not Tinmoya's wife. But if Quark is lying here, then Quark is 0, and still a decent chance that that's the
I
case.
suppose I might have known her before I lost my memories, but there's no way to know, is there?
She might be
You still can't remember
the
anything?
fake mother of his.
No. Not even a little, unfortunately.
Better be telling the truth about this amnesia stuff.
Are you suspicious of me too, Sigma?
Suspicious? Have you looked in a mirror lately? You might as well have suspicious tattooed across your forehead.
If someone ran into you on the street at night, they'd probably pass out from fright.
Or maybe even during the day.
Oh. I'm so sorry. I apologize for my frightening appearance.
Well, it's not really something you need to apologize for. I mean, it's not your fault, right?
No. I suppose not. Well, I assume not. But
But what?
I'm not sure why, but none of this feels particularly strange. The mask and the suit, I mean. In a way, it almost feels natural. I don't feel as though I was forced into it.
Are you saying this is how you always look?
No, I don't think that's it.
This might be a pretty obvious question, but is there any way for you to take it off?
Maybe he has the artificial skin over his robotic body and arm. That might be the case. So.
No. I've tried several times, to no avail. I honestly don't even know where to start. But there is something I'd like to ask of you. There are parts of the suit I can't see. Could you have a look and tell me if perhaps there is a switch or something similar?
So this is where we see the lock, but then we basically forget about it completely throughout the previous timelines. It looks like you insert something. It says open. So maybe if you put some kind of key in there.
Open up the suit and take the mask off.
I see.
Putting a lock on the back of the head of somebody is more locking a person inside a suit than it is giving them free reign. If the suit was supposed to be opened by the person wearing it, you would not put the lock there.
That's excellent news. We just need to find whatever it is that goes.
Of course, there's still a chance that it's not a suit and he is just a robot.
Thank you. I feel somewhat relieved. I was beginning to fear I might have to spend the rest of my life like this.
Wait, a minute ago you said that it felt natural.
It does, but that doesn't mean I want to stay in it forever.
And see,
Imagine having glasses. Wearing them doesn't. That's what wearing this.
Let's try to skip some of this dialogue.
Well, I think that's enough about me. Shouldn't we be making our way back to the rendezvous?
I really wish that the right trigger and left trigger would actually act kind of as fast forward and rewind options, particularly in these novel sections, because rewinding would not be really a problem at all. Because there definitely are sections here where I would
all the more reason to move along.
Would like to just speed
Let's
up
hurry.
the text of the dialogue, double speed, maybe even 2.5 speed. And we're not going to get to any endings if we're at this rate. If we're not speeding up and skipping sections. Going in different routes that time seemed to accomplish nothing. It seemed like that was all the exact same dialogue. If there was even a slight change, it was like a single sentence. And in the first game, that was also the case. So these doors are now open. Now I suppose the question are, do we go through the red door? Do we even have a choice? Or, I mean, it would seem fairly weird if it turned out that you are given the green door or the blue door options. I feel like our colors probably are different. We'll see what options actually get mentioned.
What the hell? You're late. You just thought you'd take your fucking time getting back?
Sorry.
Sorry's not gonna cut it. Did you forget how this works? I'm your partner. Any later, you'd have killed us both, especially me.
Especially
You
me.
should remember that too, Sigma. I can't go through without you.
Yeah, I'm getting
But
partnered
after
with
time,
Alice.
You need to be more careful.
Still.
Please stop fighting. This isn't the time for that.
So unless there's a
She's
solo
right,
where
though.
we
The
go
doors
with
have already
Clover,
opened. We need to hurry up and figure out our teams.
although the balance of the score is different now. How should we pair up?
We're almost out of time. I'll just explain it as fast as I can.
Like, the reason why we couldn't take the red door before is because it would put Clover specifically, I think, in danger, or Tinmoya and maybe even Alice in danger. Now I think lots of people will be in danger.
Just like before, there are only 3 possible combinations.
The options finally laid out for us were as following. Option A, Alice and I, Cyan, would pair up with Luna, Yellow, and go through the green door, which we know that ending. Tinmoji, Quark, Magenta would pair up with Clover and go through the blue door, which I think is what happened in option A. And Fire and Dio, Yellow, would pair up with K, Magenta and go through the red door. Option B, Alice and I, Cyan, would go with Magenta and go through the blue door. We've seen that option. Tinmoji and Quark, Magenta would pair up with Luna and go through the red door, which that's still still the same for Tinmoji, Quark, and Quark. Phi and Dio, Yellow, would pair up with the Clover and open the green door. Option C, Alice and I and Clover would pair up and go through the red door, which is an ideal option in my opinion, and we're going to try it. So we may very well just have Alice and Clover demand to go through the red door with me, and I don't even get a choice. Tinmoji, Quark, and K open up the green door, and then Phi and Dio pair up with Luna and open the blue door. And how does this break down as far as the votes? I couldn't even bother to think about that, really. Like at the end of the day, we'd be voting against Clover, which would be fine for us. Tinmoji and Quark would be voting against K, which might be fine. And then, yeah, we want option C, obviously. That's the one we haven't seen.
3 minutes remain until chromatic doors close.
Okay, so who's going to go where?
I'm not going with Kay.
So Alice says she's not going with Kay.
I had enough of that last time. Thank you very much.
And we don't really know what happened with her and Kay last time. And I don't know if this is changing because of the multiple timelines, but I doubt it.
Oh dear. Seems I'm not wanted.
I'd like Luna to come with us.
Huh? Me?
Yeah, they are making different suggestions
Need
now.
someone gullible for the next round?
Hey, shut up. Aren't you my partner?
Maybe. But I don't want her to think that means I agree with you.
You betrayed me last time, Phi.
This is definitely different.
And Dio, you betrayed Tenmyoji.
Come on. Didn't I tell you? It was Quark who...
Dio! Stop saying that!
Anyway, Phi and I won't be choosing betray this time. Your BP's 1 right now, isn't it? If you chose ally and we chose betray, what would it be?
-1.
Yep.
I'd die.
I didn't want to say it straight out, but yeah. We're not gonna go that far just to get out of here. Right, Phi?
Yeah.
Dot 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 dot. That was literally like 6 dots in a row.
I'm going to take a chance on you.
Luna, are you sure about this?
Yes. I've made up my mind.
So Luna chooses to go with them.
Then that means Quark and I will be going with Kay. Since it looks like Alice is pretty determined.
Yes, I am.
Interesting.
Then I get to go with Alice again.
Okay.
Totally good with that.
Yep.
What I did to Alice last time was really I want to try to make up for it. So we're going with option C then?
Yeah, so you don't even get a choice. It's option
That means
C.
each group is going through a complementary door.
Which is kind of nice for the some of the past to say straight up that, hey, even though you're the player of this game, you're not going to get to make all the decisions, or some of your decisions in the past are going to affect whether or not you can make a decision later on.
Sigma, Alice, and Clover are going through the red door. Tenmyoji, Quark, and Kay are going through the green door. And finally, Dio, Luna, and I are going through the blue door. Any objections?
10 seconds remain.
Yeah, it's not even prompting you.
Chromatic door.
So had I just had this in skip mode, it would have skipped right through this. If there were any objections, there was no time for them.
Let's go.
Then the announcer's voice filled the room with as we ran for our doors.
2, 1.
Although Phi just told everybody to run,
Chromatic doors closing.
even though you're not going with Phi. You're going with Alice and Clover. Yeah, I don't think this Clover animation is better than the hand scanner animation in the previous game. Although, I think the secondary hand scanner animation in the previous game was kind of unnecessary, because every time you would get in a room, you'd have like a few seconds to find the secondary hand scanner and scan it. What was that called? The dead. Is this a dead end?
There are 3 doors, but it looks like they're all locked. I
So
wonder
we
what
pull
this
the
is.
handle.
Well, it's got a lever.
Can you pull that, Sigma?
Sure thing. And so it gets kind of annoying here because it really drags its feet even just to get you into the escape room. Well, that's interesting.
It opened the door on the right.
It seems like it always opens the door on the right regardless of what room or path you take. So maybe that means if you pull it once, it opens the door on the right. Maybe you pull it twice, it opens the door in forward. And if you pull it a third time, it opens the door on the left. Well, how far are we? We made it to the red, so it kind of just immediately jumped past this novel section. Alright, I'm going to pause and we will be back in just a second. Okay, I'm back. More and more for this game in particular, I'm going to end up just taking more and more breaks. Alright, so why was it just one? What about the other two?
Details hardly seems important to me.
The thing that's specifically weird here is if the scanner unlocks based on the number of BP that one would have, well, then I would have had 5 previously, and now I have 6, and it always seems to unlock the right door. So the only other thought is it could be just the rounds of the AB game, that as more AB games happen, more doors unlock in these paths. Or it could just be that if the other 2 people had just grabbed the handle and pulled it themselves, maybe that would have unlocked something too. There could be a limitation on how far you can get if people get murdered.
They gave us the way forward. I say we take it. Come along now.
Without waiting for a response, Alice strode off toward the open door. Clover and I hurried to follow. And I'm not even sure where this puts us. It puts us in the pantry. Oh yeah, we've never done this room, obviously. And in this case, this also puts different people in different rooms. Because we've done Galleon Bay, and we've done the rec room, but we haven't gotten through the white third chromatic doors, nor did we do the infirmary.
Who'd ever need this much underwear?
Underwear? What?
Well, I mean, all these boxes and stuff are panties, right?
That's an odd assumption, Clover.
And there are a lot of boxes.
Well, I mean, no expert as far as how panties are sold in this universe in 2038, but I would think it would be somewhat weird for it to be in boxes. Like, panties.
Is that what it said on the door?
Oh, I get it. It's a Japanese pun. She misread it and it said pantry.
Clover dear, it didn't say panty.
It said pantry.
Pantry?
It's where you keep food.
Oh, I guess that makes more sense.
So, now that we're spending more time with Clover, we're kind of immediately regretting it because not only does she feel even dumber, she's also potentially giving the writers an opportunity to go down their perverted, lewd direction if they want to. Her face turned an especially amusing shade of red. What do you think that thing is?
I'd say it's a water storage tank.
Now, it is a little weird that Alice knows anything, though. Like, remember, as far as I understand, she was a frozen Egyptian queen or princess or something. So, the fact that she would somehow have any understanding of modern technology at all is kind of amazing. I really don't feel like if you brought somebody hundreds of years in the future, they would be well suited to ever learn all the intricacies of modern technology. I think they'd just be very depressed and need a lot of assistance and never be able to catch up.
It's totally full of water.
The stuff on the shelves looks like it's mostly bread, maybe a few pastries. No panties.
So just a bunch of food, huh?
Clover was right that there's a lot, though.
If it's bread, you'd have to be fairly careful with bread. It goes bad relatively quickly. Although, again, in the future, maybe they have technology that gets around that. Also, I notice at the top there, they have even more shelves and cabinets. So, if each one of these boxes is supposed to be potentially a meal, there must be even more meals or something else in storage higher up. It also goes through A through G, and then 1 through 14. Well, there aren't 14 weeks in a year, are there? No, there are 52 weeks in a year. Why am I even asking that? Of course I know that. So, we have a system here where it starts on G1 and then gives you 13 weeks in total. And each day is numbered, I assume A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because there's 7 days. If there's 13 times 3 would be 39, 13 times 4 would be 52. Yeah, so exactly 52 weeks of meals, in one meal in each of these squares. Apparently enough meal in each of those for all the people here. Looks like you could live here for quite a while. My estimation, maybe a year.
I'd have to agree.
Then what do you think this place is for?
Maybe it's where they quarantine sick people.
That is a possibility. Did Clover know about Radical 6? What?
Didn't we tell you? About Radical 6?
Well, yeah, but I guess this dialogue probably gets repeated in some other flow. I assume what happens here is there's a green path here, and there's a blue path here, and a red path here, and then there's a green path here, a blue path here, and a red path here, and it might actually be wiser to go down all the green paths, all the red paths, and all the blue paths in groupings of colors to potentially end up past one of these to be continued points. Like, it may very well turn out that I needed to go through the other 2 blue paths to be able to get past this point.
I guess that story really was true.
You're saying that the reason they've got all this food and water is so that they can keep infected people here. That's ridiculous. I'm not infected with some weird disease. I don't want to spend the rest of my life locked up in a metal box.
Me either. Giving us food is all well and good, but no spare underwear? That's unforgivable.
Alice is just teasing Clover at this point. In all fairness, looking at how much that skirt is hanging low on the hips of Alice, it's extremely hard to believe she's wearing underwear. That was a problem in the first game too, is that while Alice is mostly a visual distraction with her boobs hanging out, in the first game the belly dancer lady's hips were, her skirt was so low, and often it was framed in such a way it looked like she might not be wearing pants at all. That was a big distraction also.
Seriously? How long are you guys going to keep making fun of me for that?
Right. We need to search this room, so let's get started. I have to applaud that conversation, even though it did go in the kind of perverted path that the writers seem to enjoy going down. It is some falling action. In this timeline, only the old lady has died, so a little bit of falling action is nice. Of course, fairly quickly we are going to start running into a scenario where there's just no more room for that at all. There's a bunch of cubies in the wall. All of them seem to be locked, though I can't open them. I don't see anything like a keyhole either. I'm not sure I can open them. See, so maybe after the first year this unlocks and it gives you another year's worth of food, which potentially might mean that there are 12 years worth of food here, although the numbers don't add up either. You have 1, 2, 3 and then 4 cubes. And then there's like even more there. So let's just start looking. We've got some kind of chemical mixer here, basic, neutral, and acidic. So we've got some basic water. We got some basic water. We got some neutral water. We got some acidic water. What did you think this machine is for? The bottom part looks like some kind of dolly. It's got a 5x5 grid of metal boxes. Top row is empty though. Yeah. Do you think we're supposed to put something in there? Well, not something, I guess probably more boxes. Does this icon mean don't drink this? It says acidic water, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we probably shouldn't drink it. Then again, it's empty, so it's not like there's anything to drink anyways. Acidic acid water, so something like vinegar or something, I suppose. I think this is probably more like the water that they use in beauty products. See, that's translation error. I'm sure. I think they mean acetone, which lots of chemicals have a significant portion of their makeup being water. That doesn't inherently mean acetone is water, though, or acidic water. That you oversimplify the description of everything if you say everything is some kind of water. Humans are like 80% water. You wouldn't call us flesh water. An empty plastic container says basic water. I'm supposed to put basic water in here. Now that probably means acidically neutral water. Same response that time. Well, no, that's the neutral water, so we need to use base as in pH negative. natural water. Do you think it means we're supposed to put water from nature into it? No, Clover. Look at it again. It doesn't say natural. It says neutral. Whoa, you're right. That means it's not acidic or base. It's right in the middle. In fairness, maybe this would have been better explained if they had said, well, that Clover was Japanese and she was reading this from English. Like, button part. Tony, there are threads cutting into the insides, so like a female screw. Maybe it can combine with something else to make it a bit more useful. Let's see. I don't think that's gonna work. You probably need a complete button. Alright, so I need to find a screw to put in here. And that will unlock and or lock this. It's full of ice cubes. It's an ice machine. It's pretty big for an ice machine. Maybe it's an industrial ice machine. These look like handles, right? I wonder if you can lift it open. Let me give it a shot. Or no good, won't even budge. Yep. Is it super beneficial to have two people in the background? I kind of feel like all of the first game had that problem too, where there should have probably been only one person in the room with you at any time, but then they needed three people so that you would never be in the room with the murderer alone, and that just increases the amount of dialogue you have to write, and the complicates every conversation. These are some pretty impressive shells. That's a lot of prepackaged food. It's a bunch of instant coffee and boxers of tea. You mean boxes, right? So Clover is just going to constantly make jokes. See this red button? I think it keeps the wheels in place. So if we push it, it'll unlock. Then we can move it. This thing if we release a lock. Sounds good. Let's get to it then. Okay. Why would they put the cabinet back in the corner like this? It's really hard to get to. Agreed. It's got a sliding door. Alright, let's slide them. Then, what's this? A binder? It's got a couple pieces of paper inside. We probably ought to hang on to them, right? We found a nutritional management chart and a nutritional balance chart. We can review them in the archive. They didn't even bother to show me them, which is fairly ridiculous. Okay, that seems like that's gonna be difficult. And it seems like we're gonna have to balance out for a lot of staff. And it seems to me like they are going to imply that this food is actually for staff and not for the people here, which that's believable. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a facility for a completely different group of people. Those people were killed by either Zero Jr. or just died out eventually or didn't make it to the facility ever, and now it's getting reused for a Nonary game. Good, let's see if we can move this thing. Was it really worth spending the budget to animate that? I don't need to really ask that. The answer is obviously no. That is not at all worth it. The two cabinets on the back wall. This is the left one. It has a sliding door, but it can't open it. Yeah, having quite a hard time zooming in. So I guess I wasn't supposed to do that. No, I was supposed to do this. So that we could get in here. The binder in here too. And this is what, some kind of chemical? Let's take the binder first. We have a pH scale. Now the chemical. We have a pH tester. This is a chemical for testing pH. Of course, if you don't know anything about pH, this could be a particularly difficult puzzle. You can use it to test how basic or acidic something is. Of course, that is the one benefit of having two characters in the game, is that they can talk to you and explain puzzles to you if you just are completely not informed on it. Now, how does Clover know about any of this? She's saying she did it in school. You put it in water and the water changes color depending on the basic acidity or acidity of it. And then neutral is green. Beauty products is 4. Ionized water is blue. Okay. Let's look at this mess. So these are all drawers, huh? Yeah, tons of them. Wow, how many are there? 366. What? I said there are 366, which would be a leap year. You just looked at them and figured that out? No, I did math. They're divided into 4 sections. Each row has a row numbered 1 through 14. In other words, there are 14 rows in each section. The columns are labeled with letters A through G, so you've got 7 columns per section, and 4 sections means 28 columns total. Now each section has a few spots where there aren't any drawers, right? Well, specifically, there are 26 of those spots. So you just calculate 14 times 28 minus 26, and that's 366. Well, the way they did that was different than the way I would have done that, but okay. Right. You did all of that in your head? Of course. It's pretty simple stuff. ... Shelves are divided into 4 sections labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 101, 11, 12. Additionally, each section has rows 1 through 14. Where's 101? 101, 12. Oh, here. 10, 11, 12. They didn't put any spaces in it. Alright, well, let's see, what's this? Hey, this is from a calendar, right? Yeah, it looks like it looks a little weird though. We now found the calendar. We can go to the archive. Wait, I think there's something written on the back of it. The day the man was abducted. Oh yeah, there is something back here. Found a note on the back of the archive. You can review it in the archive. So we now have 2 more archive things. Alright, first half of the year. And then second half of the year, this could get really frustrating fast. Hey, it's screen lit up. Looks like it's the sign to turn on when you touch it. I think we need to type in something, yeah. Enter the most appropriate option in the blank area and press check. Okay, let me give it a shot. Okay. No clue, because if I do 1, 2, 3, and then it's gonna want me to pick pick a date. Like the day that I was abducted was the 25th, December the 25th, which would be the 10th month of December the 25th. But is that specifically supposed to be me that was abducted or someone else? It says the day the man was abducted. Okay. We're gonna take neutral water. And we're gonna put it in here. What's this thing? Well, it's got a faucet, so I think it's connected to the water storage tank up there. So you use it to pour water. Yeah, there's a drain too. Oh yeah, in the middle here. Sigma, don't you think you could use that here? Drain. I don't know if there was a joke in that last sentence. I wasn't paying enough attention. Was she implying that she thought I was going to urinate in the drain? Drain, I could get rid of the water here. Alright, so then you just use this up here. Alright, so that, let's fill this thing. Water-filled container. Okay. And then we'll just go over to the pH detection document and we'll bring it down to well, I guess we need to probably combine this with this. There's a level of confusion there, certainly. Because I could fill up these two basics with a -3 and the acidic with a +4 and hope that works. But I think I'm probably needed to have done the beaker on a 0 first. Okay, now let's combine that with the color. Alright, that gave us green. So, green is neutral, so we were right about that. Then we'll just drain the beaker. And then we'll go to -3. Just make sure this goes in the right direction. And then we'll combine that again with this, which this is like the first time we've actually used an item twice. And so that gives us a red, which seems like very acidic. Would 2 acidic potentially hurt us? Or eat through the plastic? I don't think so. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and drain this just to make sure these numbers aren't changing on us in any way. And that a +3 really means a +3. So combine that and use this for the 3rd time. It's blue. Blue is ionized, which would be a base. See, what if we were to combine those two? Nope, can't do that. So, they don't want any coloring of the water. Okay. Right, so we've got neutral water, which neutral water would have been green. So put it there. No, that seems like I don't understand. Basic water. What did I click on that let me put the water back down? The screen's dark. Maybe it's not on. Looks like there's a card slot right under it. Maybe you need to make a connection. Yeah, we've got something in the drawer. Wonder what it is. Metal piece that can screw into that to make a button. Whoa, what are you doing? You broke it. Okay, now we have a warm drawer. I wonder about what these numbers are. Why is this empty? I guess I must have just not filled it up. Alright, we'll try that again. I guess that explains why it wouldn't work. Yeah, I'm not sure any of that helped me much. Let's move on. This puzzle room in particular feels very much like it's allowing me to bounce around a lot more. There we go. Should be in pretty good now. Yay, looks good to me. Well, why don't you go ahead and push it? And there. Did you hear that? Yeah, sounds like the lock opened. So we can open it. I assume so, yeah. Huh? So it is supposed to open. Oh, it's empty. Wonder why. Looks like it can be opened from both sides. See? I think you could do that from the front and back too. Then there's no hinge, it's just one huge lid. It's just sitting on top of the bottom. How does it look like there's something inside it? That ice cube to you? You're right. I wonder if we can get it to it. Well, we won't just be grabbing it, that's for sure. This glass is in the way. How about dropping it through that hole? There's a square hole down here, see? I think if you just need to slide the ice cube into it. How? I really have to explain? Alright, fine, just pay attention. You can slide the ice cubes by using the directional buttons. Move the ice cube with something in it to the hole in the front. You can slide 4 of the ice cubes, but there's a limit to the number of times each one can be moved. Once you reach the limit, the ice cube will freeze in place. Okay, got it. Here goes. Okay. So, this way, this way, this way, this way. We need to figure out how this is all gonna end up. This way. And then this way. And this way. This way. And that way. And then that way. And that way. Let's flow that out of the way. That out of the way. That way. That way. That way. That way. And that way. That way. And then that way. Now, they're using the D-pad on this puzzle, where none of the other puzzles have done that. See this way. You gotta move. Out of the way. Some direction. So, there's a trick here, obviously. Something probably closer to that. So that then you can kind of lock yourself into place. This way, and then that way. What if this went up? I don't think that benefits you any. This is really just going to be a lot of brute forcing. We need that and that. And then that. Maybe that. Not gonna work. I really feel like this puzzle room compared to previous puzzle rooms is a little bit more just non-logical. Like this is more of a brute force puzzle, and the PH puzzle and the meals puzzles so far don't seem to have obvious solutions compared to like all the rec rooms, which really were complicated math challenges. And it doesn't, I think, benefit this style of game, which is going to require you to play all the escape rooms and do every single timeline to have some puzzle rooms be more complicated than others. This. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pressing up does nothing. Pressing down does nothing. So things have to actually slide for them to count. That got me a little bit further. So is there possibly some way see this, and then this, and then this. Which then does this. Which then does this. If we did that way. So your options are left and right, and then your options are up and down. Hmm. 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 If I could go here, and then go here, and go here. It's not gonna work. I think I have to get it at the order that in the order that the whole system is set up here. So that if I just had one more move. Okay, if I go here, yeah, there's no solution there. Go here. That doesn't work either. So this, then this, and then going down one extra doesn't do anything. So that's wrong. Up, down, up, there. There's something about the number of steps that's the problem. Because I need to be able to go this way, and then when I go down, I can't go up. Which kind of means that that cube has to go somewhere else. See, you're fairly close there, but I need a cube there. Okay. So how can I get a cube there? Because if I go down here and this way, there's really not room to go up. So you gotta go there. And you gotta go there. You gotta go there. And that just ruins everything. Pressing up at that point kills it. This feels like there should be some memo or some help here in the archive. Was there anything that possibly could have been an interesting idea? Yeah, if any part of this information was supposed to be helpful for this puzzle, I don't think that so. And I could exit, and I might need to exit, frankly, just to take a break here, because this is not really working. Go down. Go down again, you can't do that. Go to the left. I mean, I guess you could do that. And then you could go down, and then you could go to the right. And then you could go down. And you could go to the left. Do I have 3 more moves though? Yes, I do. Got it. It was more complicated than I felt like it should have been. Ha, it worked. Good job, Sigma. Open it up. We should be able to get that ice cube now. So now we have an ice cube with a key card in it. That's a big ice cube, and it's got a card of some kind. Looks like it's the same size as a credit card. How do we get it out? Maybe we could throw it against the wall or something. No, that might damage the card. So you just want to what? Wait until it melts? There's got to be a faster way. Yeah, let's put it in the warm drawer. Put the ice cube in the warm drawer. Why it's spelled with 4 A's, I don't know. Yeah, it'll probably melt eventually. That's a waste of time. Just stick it back in the dolly. Yeah, I guess the idea here is that this dolly probably has a warming element. Alright, put the drawer and ice back inside. Oh, you hear that? It's probably warming it up right now. You should probably keep an eye on it. Fade out. So it's kind of like a microwave, sorta. Sounds like it's done. Open it up and have a look. Now we have water. Look, hey, look, the water from the ice melted. Ah, hot. The card's underneath the water. Okay, here goes. Ah, are you okay? Just kidding. Dick move. So we have a visitor ID. So what do you think the deal with this card is? It says visitor ID. So wouldn't it be for like authenticating or something? Might be able to use it for activities or something. Alright, well. Stick the ID in here. There's what looks like a card slot below the monitor. Alright, let's slide the baby in. Yeah. Go for it. Hey, what's going on? Looks like it's on now. Why is the screen red? You think something's wrong? Wait, it says something. Number of ration boxes insufficient. Please rectify. Content of acidic vessel incorrect. Please rectify. Content of neutral water vessel incorrect. Please rectify. Okay. So we did that wrong. Don't need it anymore, don't want it anymore. Okay. So let's come over here and figure out if we can get the December 25th food. So 10 and then I'll have to look again. Let's look at the calendar actually. Second half of the year. Yeah, this number seems to be all over the place. Okay, so that should be B13, right? 10B13. 10B13, check. Completed. The screen's blue now. Do you think it could maybe possibly be it? Yeah. It's probably the safe password. That's good, right? Well, there's one problem. Screen shuts off after a set amount of time. No, we need to be fast. I can do it. I've got a really good memory. All I need to do is a moment. Alright, so we've seen the safe password. Well, did you memorize it? Indeed I did. It's locked away up here. Phew, what a relief. Now, if we look here, that was the extra code. The main code we're looking for no telling, actually. Let's come back here and check. The day the man was abducted. Nutritional balance. That still doesn't make any sense. Nutritional chart. What other day would we want to put in here? Is there a 0 or anything here that makes sense? Hmm. 1/1. Then 3/1. These numbers, I think, are just going up further and further. So what's the next step here? What items do we have? Well, let's mess with the water then. We know that's wrong, we can flush that. And so then we can flush that out. And then we can flush that out. And I'm just gonna do +2 and use the beaker on it. And then we'll combine that with that. That's a lighter blue. Which that would be ionized water as base. So that's what we're trying to get here. It's not that we're trying to get neutral water anyways. So let's go with this. -1. It's real easy to hit the wrong button on some of this. Okay, that's yellow. Which that would still be acidic. So we'll go ahead and just fill that up with acidic and hope that that's right. Then we'll go to -2 and we'll dump out the beaker. Yeah, it does feel like it is. They did complicate this and not have each button directly mean something else. So that's a brownish beauty product. That's orange. Which that very well might be what the acidic people wanted. Alright, well, we'll go to +1, we'll just fill it up without even doing any testing. And we'll let the machine tell us if we're wrong. Go ahead and put that in. Go ahead and put that in. Let's look at the screen. Number of ration boxes insufficient. Please rectify. Content of acidic base incorrect. Please rectify. So, okay. Then, let's see. Let's try that again. Might be doing the same solution here. Okay, we've got all of this part ready. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna just try 1A1. Check. Failed. Okay. Well, the 20th was the day the other man was kidnapped, Dio. We don't know when Tomoyo is kidnapped, though. So we could potentially work our way through that. That would put us, let's see, where? The day the man was abducted. If it's not the 25th, he said he thought it was the 20th. So that'd be A, B, C, D, D12. We can try that. D12. Nope. 10 B. Nope. Maybe C. But you don't have any food rations. So it does feel like there's something I've just missed here. Says the exit, it's locked. This is the lock. Says lock. I might as well click on everything. Might as well click on the door. Where do you think you're going? That's the door we came through, you know? There's no going back at this point. All you'll find is a locked chromatic door. You don't really think this through, did you? Alright. Some of the pictures on these boxes look really tasty. I wonder if they're what's under the wrapper. Under where? Under there. Shut up. So they're doing still underwear jokes. In here is nothing. We slide this back. In here is nothing. You have to get quite the angle. What if we were to click on buttons? Can we lock the wheels? Nope. I'm just mashing the A button as much as possible to try to see if there's something here they hit. And I just don't see it. There's nothing on the safe. Where would we have gotten boxes? Oh, okay. This is easier than it seems. We need 113. We need 327. We need 57. So see, 1 plus 7 would be 8. Plus, that would make that 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 3E. 1, E, 3. There we go. There, did it work? Look at the shelves. Huh? The shelves, the drawers, whatever you call them. Okay. So we now have a meal, box of meat rations. Wonder what this box is. Is this a picture of meat? I guess it's some kind of ration. They're preserved food that can keep for a very long time. Sometimes they hand them out in the army. Given what's inside, it might be more accurate to call this a ration box. So in here is some meat that's been processed and preserved. I'd imagine so. Hey, didn't we see something kind of like that somewhere else? You know, that reminds me of the machine on the dolly. Maybe this needs to be put in one of the cubbies. Alright, yep. Next we need 327, which, let's look at the first year for this. 327 would be B14. You potentially could brute force this, but it would drive you insane. Look, another one just popped out. This is a point where in other games they would have been a little bit more generous and simply handed you the rest of the solutions on like a third try. Next we need a 5-7 and then maybe a 730. Alright. 5-7 would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So A7. So this, then this, and then this. There we go. Come on, drawer. So, of course, there may still be complications here. Box of salad rations. Ooh, we might very well need to have remembered which one came into which. Let's check the archives here for a second. Staff nutritional chart. Nutritional balance 1 week shows 3 different colors. The 3 different colors is a combination of different variables for each type of meal. Okay. So which one of the staff, though, and this is the part we are missing, is a man? A, B, C, D, or E? Because if we figure that out, then we might be able to match the staff with the meal. Although maybe not. Maybe I'm grasping at flies here. Or grasping at straws, to use an actual phrase. And because at a certain point, if the meal that the box comes out of equals one of these staffs, and one of these staffs is a man, does that mean that man was abducted that day? No, it doesn't. So we need a 730 and an 1111. Okay, so here. that go to 7? No. 730 is A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A6. Actually, this is the easier solution, so the fact that this is so long and has to be found to escape the room is kind of confusing. Although, I suppose it is sneakier to put in the day that you were abducted and get the secret code. That's 4. Looks like there's another one. Yeah, let's just leave these. 8 and 11 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6G, I believe. This G6. Got it. Okay, that makes 5. Come on, let's do this. I don't think we can really do anything more. Lost a pasta on it. Alice seems to think maybe we should insert this into the machine on the dolly. What's interesting here is these foods are not inherently the same foods that Fi said she ate in her timeline. Box of soup rations. Where is the twice cooked pork? In particular, if she actually ate that, although it's possible she didn't actually eat that. Alright, well, let's just stick it in. Seems to be like it goes in just the color-coded slots. Look at the screen. Yay. A lot of yaying. For a murder game, too many yays. Rearrange the order of the rations so that they match these values. Press A button to grab a box and place it on top of another box to switch them. Right. Let me give it a shot. Okay. I didn't catch that first sentence. But let's see. Does this change if I do this? Does this? They kind of swap spaces. This is Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday. So this is weekdays. Which they give me 5 days here as 1 week instead of 7 days. Okay. So what we need to figure out, I guess, is how do we want to balance this? We need something that gives us considerably less green, 1 less orange, and 1 less red. So a green probably needs to go in this order instead of red. Okay. And I guess this clicking the data button will make that easier. So we want 3 less from the bar on orange, 1 less on red, and 4 green. So we potentially need to do something like that. That's too much carbs. And eventually I guess we would probably get the right number. Come on. Alright, oh, start here. No, I'm not trying to hit the B button, I swear. I'm just accidentally hitting the B button. Okay. Let's get rid of that, and then that. And then you have to click this back button. And then get rid of that. And that. That's too much carbs. Like, if it's too much carbs, wouldn't it be pasta? It's still too much carbs. I might be applying my own logic here inaccurately. Okay. Is that where we wanted? I don't know why it keeps bringing me back to that area. We want 3 carbs remaining and 1 meat and 1 grain. So it kind of works. Let's move on to the next one. Here we want all red meat and lots of green. So if we were to do this and this, let's see where that puts us. That puts us over. So that's not going to be a solution. Yeah. I think we probably could guess that we're not going to end up eating 3 protein meals. Okay, let's check that. Too short on carbs, too short on fat. That's fairly close. Next, we want to be 2 short on carbs, 1 short on fat, and 1 on red. I'm not getting these perfect, but I think I have the general idea. Slightly. Over on too much fat though. So if we were to swap these two. What if we were to swap these two? I think I'm close. We have too much fat here on this one. I hope these lock in. Yes, sweet. So then that does open the door to some tweaks. There. There we go. We can just now play around with this. Or we could also not goof around with it and see if we can actually logic this through, which I guess we will have to do. Right. We need one more fat and I think a lot more protein. Now this is finally going to the right place. 1 short on protein, 3 short on the orange, and 4 greens. So we have too much carbs. Which means we gotta have more protein. Still too much on the carbs and too much on the fat. So too much fat still and too much carbs. Interesting. Too much fat and too much protein. Now. Like, I feel like that's totally the wrong answer. And it is probably somewhere around 3 fishes. This would be a nightmare, certainly, also if you had to have extra pieces. That's like exactly right, except for one thing on carbs. So we're like 1 carb off. So what gives you 2 carbs instead of 1 carb? Salads give you 2 carbs. The purple give you purple ones give you 3 carbs. The fish give you 1 carb, 3 protein, and 2 green. The pasta, which is the purple one, gives you 3 carbs, 1 red, and 1 green. So it does feel like there is a possibility here that this is the solution, and then something like this is the solution, or maybe even something like this is a solution, or something like that's a solution. This pasta is probably too many carbs. Oh, please tell me. Oh, shoot. Well, that's annoying. 1, 2, 3. I was not paying attention. I didn't pay attention to any of that. Odds of me being able to brute force any of this into the right order seems fairly low. Hmm. Oh, this is gonna be annoying. This is gonna be nothing but annoying. Okay. How can we brute force any of this at all? I have too much fat and protein. I have too much carbs. I have too much protein. I have too much protein and fat. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, this stinks. This really stinks. And see how do we want to kind of arrange this? Like, we can move things around, but I don't think that's gonna help you much. Like, okay. So I brute force my way back into a solution. Okay, I brute forced my way back into a solution. Let's try this again. Maybe the game is gonna be fairly generous here. I don't believe it will. This logic is falling apart quickly. That since these have different goals, it isn't a matter of just balancing things out. We need one fat and one less carb, which means something here needs to replace that, I think. That. Did I get that for a second? I don't think so. How can this be this complicated? Let's see. That pretty much can't be the solution, because once you throw pasta in there, you can't have any more carbs. You've got to pretty much focus on something different. Okay. Maybe that's the way, but then that adds fat too, so... Three. So we just have too much protein and too much fat, which I guess would be that. Still too much protein and too much fat. Did that really change anything? No, almost as if these red ones don't matter. Finally. I need a screenshot of that. Oh man. Well, I guess I'll just have the keys memorized, so if I ever have to go through this room again, I'll just put in the codes. Because I am never doing that puzzle again. Grr. I just solved the poop out of this puzzle. Hey, are you getting a little too excited? Aren't you getting a little too excited? Yeah, it's kind of freaking me out. Did you see the screen? It looks like the password for the AB room and the from the AB room and the infirmary. Wait a minute, what? What passwords were in the AB room? Oh yeah, there were passwords when you first were in the AB room to escape. You did it. Now we can open the safe. I am so done with the pantry. And the panty jokes definitely did not keep me interested. Alright, so sun, then moon, then moon. Let's do this. This is the safe, right? Yeah. Looks like the one in the AB room and infirmary, so all we need is the password. Should be just like the others. Sun, moon, moon. To unlock it. Ah, it opened. Alright, let's see what we've got. First is a map. Not very useful, we've already gotten this. It says floor B. The one we found in the infirmary said floor A. Yes, so did the one in the lounge. Then that would make floor A the top floor, right? That means we rode the elevator down to get here. Yeah, you're right. I guess if they're in space, it could be that the whole place is upside down with gravity plates, but what would be the point of that? Okay, let's keep looking. There's a lot of other stuff. These must be moon cards. They have moons on them. Then these have to be the cards the announcer was talking about. We've got 2 of them, just like with the sun keys. You take one, Clover. Oh, why? Well, you're solo, right? Alice and I only need one. All right, got it. Now what have we got left? A key. Is that the exit key? Yeah, it must be. This is our ticket out of here. What are we waiting for? Let's go. And then zoom back in. And then we'll check the other password that we got. Star, moon, sun. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I am a little scared to find out what extra information gets unlocked based on this room, because I feel like it is going to be a bunch of panty and underwear talk. Piece of cake. You found the gold file. To view it, visit the secret tab in the archive. Let's see. Still plenty of tabs we haven't done yet. Cooked food 1. Here we have twice cooked pork, a Szechuan dish made from frying pork, cabbage, and bell peppers. And then paella. And then nasi goreng. And then schnitzel. These are all the foods that were mentioned by Phi that she ate. Yu Ging Jang, Borscht, Tom Kha Gai, and Chef's Pasta. Whatever the chef feels like making, sometimes you don't know what it is until you take a bite. Sometimes you don't even know then. Each of these dishes are from different countries. Is it possible that we have a Szechuan character, a Spanish character, an Indonesian character, a German character, a Korean character, a Russian character, a Thai character, and the main character being Chef's Pasta? I wouldn't buy into that very much, no. So if this is supposed to mention that the people who are supposed to work here are from those regions. That doesn't give us really any information at the moment. If it's supposed to imply that each of the 9 characters has a different nationality, they don't really look the part. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 here and 4 here, so that leaves one person not even being mentioned. Words 03 says before he leaves. There are a few variations. Interesting. Have a nice trauma. We've already seen this. Have a nice trace. Have a nice trumpet. Yeah, I don't know what any of that means though. If there's a reasoning why 03 says different endings. Here we have Free the Soul, an emerging religious organization with a rapidly growing membership. Some figurines claim that congregation numbers over 1 million in countries across the world. Originally, the organization called itself Free the Soul of Y, but later dropped the of Y to become simply Free the Soul. The founder of the religion is known as Brother, and his true identity is a mystery. Only a small number of the highest-ranking members have ever seen him. The doctrine of Free the Soul demands that all adherents separate themselves from the world, free themselves of lust, and release their souls from physical bodies so that they can be purified. Its followers believe that they will be born again as a new race, and that the world will be transformed into a place of equality with no conflict or poverty. Considering how, quote, a peaceful world of equality with no conflict or poverty usually plays out in the movies, they seem like a pretty scary group of people. Interesting backstory, because we don't, like, why would anybody even start a conversation about this? This is the word that is on the knife. MYRMIDONS. Free the Soul is a powerful new religion dedicated to establishing a new world order, and the Myrmidons are their elite frontier soldiers in that secret war. The general public knows nothing about the Myrmidons, but their actions have put them on the watch list of intelligent communities across the globe. Rumors say that the Myrmidons have the same face, suggesting that they may all be clones of a single person. Are we introducing clones into the story? I guess we are. No one knows where this rumor comes from exactly, but I can tell you that it's a very credible source. So I would not be surprised if K turns out to be Brother, or a Free the Soul member, or just a Myrmidon. I wouldn't also be surprised if Dio is a Myrmidon. It would also be a little surprising, but not out of the question, that Alice and Clover are actually Myrmidons for the Free the Soul religion / cult. Brother, the founder of the Free the Soul, although he prefers not to be referred to as such. As a child, he had a younger brother whom he was very fond of. Unfortunately, the worst happened and the younger brother was murdered. Well, that seems like a reason to potentially do a Nonary game. That the Nonary game that potentially happened before even the events of the first game killed Brother's brother, and now he's trying to change the past. Rage and despair filled Brother, and for 9 days and 9 nights he was consumed by his own misery. On the morning of the 10th day, he had a revelation. Mankind was rife with base desires and needed to be purified so that a new world could come into being. God had spoken to Brother and given him a mission. Brother dedicated his life to realizing this mission, and at the age of 26 he established the Free the Soul of Y. He claims that Y is a symbol for miracles. So Free the Soul of miracles? Bracelet 3. Here's some important information that isn't revealed in the game. The bracelet put on the left wrist of the 9 participants of the Ambidex game has an important feature that's never mentioned. As soon as it's put on, a needle on the underside activates and inserts itself in the wearer. That doesn't necessarily mean that it injects the drug, only that it activates and pierces the skin. Maybe there's something on the needle. Maybe there isn't. All that's certain is that when someone puts the bracelet on, they get poked. Interesting. So they may have already been infected with something. Okay. Now I'm going to be very surprised how once we exit this room, we start having a conversation that justifies giving us that information that we just got. But I am more than happy to be done with this room. Unfortunately, it does just kind of toggle back and forth though between the novel sections, which are slow and boring and increasingly difficult to follow and pay attention to, and the escape rooms, which can be slow and boring and frustrating. Do it. 3, 2, 1. It really feels like it would be nice if there was a third gameplay mechanic or something. And they just don't mention the handles at all. You just pull them. And it just opens a gate. I guess I should applaud that though. So many other parts of the warehouse have been over-explained.
45 minutes remain until Ambidex Game polling closes.
Now it doesn't really take 45 minutes, I think, to get to the AB rooms. The gate's been opened.
One of the other teams must have done it.
Yep.
But the rest of us aren't even back yet.
Well, we can fix that. Come on, let's get moving. Just then. Whoa. Did you two just get back?
Yes, we did, but
Then the team that opened the AB gate must have been the ones who went through the blue door.
Quark must be missing still again.
That would be Luna, Vi, and Dio.
Huh? Wait. You guys went through the green door, didn't you? Then why the hell did you come out of the blue one?
there's an explanation for that, I promise. Just tell me, have any of you seen Quark?
Quark? No, we haven't seen him. Did something happen?
He's gone.
Well, in this timeline, Quark is either grabbed by somebody different or something else different, because like Tomoya and Quark were with a different person. So unless it was Tomoya himself that grabbed Quark and put him in the treatment center or whatever he did with him, then somebody would have had to have snuck away from a group at some point, or for Quark to escape, or Quark would have had to run away on his own, which I think is really the case.
On the other side of the green door, we found a room called the treatment center.
Yep.
We found our key cards and left, but on our way out, he just disappeared.
So it very well may be the case that Quark himself put himself in the treatment pod and nobody saw. So he went through the blue door to see if he'd gone there.
No, that's not it. Look at this map.
Green door loops all the way around the edges, and then into the room with the white room, then back out. Oh, so you do go through the green door in the treatment center, and eventually you end up at the blue door.
It looks like there's a pretty big room in the middle there. What is it?
A warehouse similar to the one on floor A.
In any event, we've spent some time searching, but have been unable to locate Quark.
Huh? Well, maybe he went back to the other floor already.
That is a possibility. I will return and see.
I'm going back through the blue door. Figure I'll take a look at the area Luna and her team were searching.
I'll come with you then. We got a better chance of finding them with two pairs of eyes.
Thanks. Sorry about all this.
See, this is an interesting split in the story, because now I'm letting Alice vote without me,
I guess
potentially.
there's nothing for it.
Which that's a good move. Like Kay any of the pairs could continue looking for Quark while the other people could vote, but the solos need to get back to the AB rooms for sure.
I'll help look for him.
Me too.
Then we'll leave floor A's to you guys.
Right. Let's go. Come on, Clover.
Right behind you.
So we're leaving Alice and Clover to go search. Tomoya and I headed through the blue door while Alice, Clover, and Kay climbed into the elevator. Let's see. So unless we found Quark earlier, PEC. PEC, what does that stand for? We've got a whole different room now. It's like a scuba diving room. What's this place? So where are we on the flow? Yeah. Seems like we're going to end up in a different room and then have to make one decision or the other. Probably both are going to be bad endings.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of hazmat suits, probably for protection against viral or chemical agents.
Yeah. So these things keep you from getting sick?
Yeah, that's the idea. We should ask Luna's group about them.
We haven't seen this room, but we can see there's a safe in the lower right corner, so clearly this is an escape room.
They investigated this room first.
There's another room underneath.
Let's have a look then.
How did they get to a different room? Why do the rooms go differently based on different timelines or different pairings? Damn, it's not here.
Quark, where the hell did you go? I should have kept a closer eye on him. If I'd just been watching.
Tomoya's face was drawn and the knuckles of his fists were white. He was an old man, but until then I hadn't realized how old. Suddenly he looked very, very tired. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll find him. Come on, let's go and try somewhere else. I put a gentle hand on his shoulder and guided him towards the exit. There's quite a lot of rooms. So this is floor B warehouse, huh? It looks just like the other one.
Pretty close. I'll give you that. Couple differences though. Have a look over there.
The doors are shining. No way. Are these chromatic doors?
Yeah, seems like it. See over here? They've got a box next to them, just like the ones next to the other doors.
I guess they're all white doors this time. We should go tell the...
No, first we look for Quark.
But... Look, I don't think he's here. What do you say we head back to the floor A for now? Maybe somebody else has already found him.
Alright.
What's interesting here is Tomoya needed to be convinced to go back, so that almost assumes that somebody else convinced him to go back in the other timelines. Man, there's just a lot of instances here in which you just go from room A to room B, barely have a conversation, and then move on to the next room. Feels like that's unnecessary. If this was a TV show or movie, some director somewhere would say, hey, we've got a room budget, we've got to build these stages, and they would tell the writer, let's not animate a room or use a room unnecessarily. Deal.
It's just you. I'm guessing you haven't found Quark? I ran into Clover and Alice in the warehouse up on floor A.
Was it Dio that opened the AB
They
room?
told me about Quark and how you're all looking for him.
So he hasn't come back to the warehouse?
Nope. Maybe he just went off to ruminate on a solution to this game. Chewing his cud, so to speak.
Big words? What?
That's what ruminants do, isn't it?
Hey, this is no time for jokes. You should be out looking for him too.
Why would I do that? It sounds so boring.
Aren't you worried about him?
Why the hell would I be worried about some kid I've never even seen before? What? For all I know, he's Zero Senior. He could be hiding in some swank little cubbyhole, swirling a glass of brandy and gloating. Look at all those fools running around.
That's insane.
Yeah,
There's no way. Are you sure? Nobody knows what Zero looks like. He could totally be a kid. I warned you, Tenmyoji. I told you it was a bad idea to just swallow everything that little bastard told you.
I trust Quark.
Suit yourself. Just don't come crying to me when it bites you in the ass.
Yeah, Dio just being a jerk. The air grew thick with tension, but before their tempers managed to set it alight, Phi burst into the room.
Sigma, good. You've got Tenmyoji and Dio with you. We found something.
They found
Come on,
something.
all of you.
Come on. Did something happen?
You'll understand when you get there, all right? Now come on.
Who's gonna be dead? Oh, where are we
The
going?
crew quarters.
Crew quarters. Feels like Alice is dead. Feels like Luna might be dead. Feels like Clover could be dead. The question, I guess, comes down to, would they have bothered to animate Clover being murdered in multiple locations, since we've already seen her dead in the infirmary once?
No.
So, yeah, same old, same old.
What in the world?
Alice and Luna dead. Luna injected with an injector that we think Dio stole. So Dio very easily could have killed Luna. Alice stabbed with a knife that we now know belongs to one of the cults, which might have been K. The colors might be different.
Your bracelet comes off.
That's all that really has to be different, is that one scene. Rolling my ears, breathing, heart beating, but my footsteps sounded muffled as if I was hurting, hearing them through layers of cotton. I pressed a shaking hand to Alice's neck. Her skin was still warm, but only the pulse I felt was my own. This is all just going to be the same. So let's just try and get through all of this. They're dead, both of them. By then everyone had arrived, cramming themselves into a small cabin. Nobody spoke. Silence filled the room, flowing into my ears and throat like cold, brackish water. A chill shudders its way through my body. I stood there frozen, staring at them. I'd seen a corpse before when we discovered the old woman, but this was different. The old lady had always been dead, at least to me, but Alice and Luna I had known. They'd been living, breathing people less than an hour ago. Reality settled around my shoulders like a thick-lidded blanket, and my chest felt suddenly hollow. Whoa. Who found them? My throat felt dry as I spoke. It was a full minute before someone answered.
Clover, I think. When Kay and I ran over, she was just kind of standing there next to the bodies.
So, in previous timelines, it was Kay who found Luna, but he also found Luna dead after the same incident in which they had found Alice dead. So I've actually shortened the time between Luna's murder and Alice's in this timeline.
It's pretty clear they were both dead.
I think Clover killed them.
Me? Kill them?
You got into a fight with Alice after the AB game, didn't you? It looked like you two knew each other before you ended up here. So maybe you were trying to get her killed. None of us had any connection to her, which means you're the most likely to have a motive for murder.
It's an interesting thought.
It's easy to see why she would have killed Luna, too. She probably caught you offing Alice, so you did her in too so she wouldn't rat you out.
Stop it, Dio.
The AB game is a motive too.
What do you mean?
If someone's dead, they can't vote anymore. That means they'll automatically ally. If your opponent's guaranteed to ally, then that's an easy 3 points.
Who was Luna's opponent?
Me and Dio.
Then that would mean Dio had a motive as well.
Yep. Alice saw him killing Luna, so he had to shut her up.
Why the hell would I do something like that?
Pay attention next time. You do it to get an advantage in the next round of the AB game.
What kind of cold-hearted bastard kills a lady for a few points?
I'm more interested in Alice's condition than in her killer's motives.
I am as well.
See, the story kind of breaks down what it feels like Alice and Luna killed each other. What do you mean by her condition?
Clothes are barely disturbed.
If it weren't for the knife and blood, she would look as if she was sleeping.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, maybe she was just killed while she was sleeping.
If she wanted to take a nap, why sit on the floor when there's a bed nearby?
That is a little strange. But a better question is, would she really be sleeping right now anyway? Hardly seems like a time for a nap.
She was probably put to sleep then.
I wonder if the body was moved. What? How?
Come on. How did Zero Senior knock all of us out?
Oh, yeah. That white
So
gas.
you're suggesting that Zero Senior knocked them out with the white gas, then killed them both?
Yeah. However it happened, one of the people in this room did it. Well, maybe not one of the people in this room. I forgot about somebody, didn't I?
You talking about Quark?
He disappears and then suddenly there's a murder? I don't know about you, but that seems pretty suspicious to me.
Nah, that's crazy. Quark couldn't have done this.
Why not?
Alright, then why'd he disappear?
There must have been some kind of accident.
Then I might have it backwards. If he wasn't the murderer, maybe he was one of the murdered. That would explain his sudden disappearance, right?
You son of a bitch.
Dio, knock it off. That's going too far.
Calm down there, big guy. Don't tell me it never crossed your mind. I just said what you were all thinking.
Clover goes quiet. Phi goes quiet. K goes quiet.
10 minutes remain.
Thought it
until
was going to be
Ambidex
5 minutes, but
polling closes.
same idea.
All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
See,
Results
we
will be
didn't,
displayed
I think,
in the
get
warehouse.
the supplement of rules that said that's actually a lie in this run.
Time to head for the AB rooms, guys.
Or did we? Come on, we've got more important things to worry about.
Oh, so you're gonna abstain, huh? That's some good luck for you, Clover. Sigma was paired with Alice. Sadly, it looks like she won't be able to vote during this round. If Sigma abstains, then you'll have no one voting against you.
How many points does
Come on,
Clover have?
Cheer up. This is your chance to escape.
Escape?
That's right. Right now, your BP's at 6.
Yeah, and I'm at 6 too, so if I betrayed and got 9, I could escape, but probably not. And if we both ally, we'll both be at 8. Or if she betrays and I ally, she'll be at 9.
Sigma's saying he won't vote, so if you choose betray,
Clover would get 3 points, bringing her to 9.
Oh, hold on there. I didn't say anything about not voting.
so you are going to vote? Well, you are, right? How exciting.
They pretty much need a murder to happen before the second vote to act as a motivator for a lot of the characters to continue to betray. Because if there was absolutely no murders that happened between the events of the old lady being discovered in the first vote, people would not be as scared. I think the story is probably failing to repeat that message.
Sigma should have 6 BP, just like Clover.
There's a lot of writing here that does not get into the emotions that a story like this would have, and they're heavily relying on the handful of animations and poses that they've made of each character to try and convey those
That
emotions,
means this next round is
where
a 1-on-1 fight.
it would be better to have just Clover and Alice and every single character kind of break down and talk about how they're terrified and they're scared and they just want to go home instead of being fairly cold and calculating.
One of them can trick the other one. They'll have enough BP to get out of here.
I feel like there's probably a decent number of anime stories, anime-like stories like that, where all the characters are just overly thought out and not written like normal humans.
Can't wait to see who wins.
At the very least, they could have had Quark act way more emotional.
Oh, this is definitely getting interesting.
Right. We should get to the Flore warehouse, guys. Come on.
And see, we have this weird problem where we're potentially going to vote, and there's still plenty of opportunity for a lot more story. I don't think we get to this point and I decide to ally or betray, and then it just quickly jumps to an end on either one of these. Although it might very well throw a to be continued here, because we don't have all the information unlocked. ... Hey, Clover, can you choose ally? We'll be stuck at 6 points if we both choose betray, but if we both cooperate, we'll get 2 points, and then we'll have 8. That means it'll be pretty easy for us to get 9 in the next round. There's no opportunity to actually get 1, so yeah. Clover, it said I want you to choose ally.
Okay. You'll choose ally too, right?
Yeah. And we always know that Clover really stops trusting people once Alice is murdered, and this was very similar to her personality in the first game. Of course, it took a long time in the story in the first game for her to recover from the events of the from thinking that her brother was murdered, to the point where she finds her brother again. She gave me a strange sort of absent nod and then turned to shuffle into the closet, the closest AB room. Wasn't sure if she'd actually understood me, but given the effect that Al's death was having on her, I didn't think there was much else I could have done. I was preparing to enter the NAB on my own room of my own when I heard Phi's voice at my elbow and turned.
Sigma, we need to talk.
Interesting, she wants to talk to me now? Oh, hey Phi. Something
How
up?
are you planning to vote?
I was just talking to Clover about that. We're planning to both vote ally.
Yeah, I thought so.
Huh.
Listen to me, Sigma. Because Luna is... Because Luna's not voting in this round. Her vote will default to ally. Her opponent is Dio and me.
Yes?
That means we're pretty much guaranteed to have 9 BP by the end of this round.
Yes? And you're gonna choose betray?
Luna's only got 1 BP left. But she's not wearing her bracelet anymore. You saw that, right?
Yeah, it'd be an interesting scenario where people chose to ally with a dead person.
That means it won't do anything if her BP goes negative. Well, it's not like it can make her any deader anyway. You have to betray Clover.
And I guess if I do betray, that would be 3 people that could escape at this point. But it would inherently leave Quark and Tomoya and Clover behind.
If you can get to 9 BP, then I'll take you with us.
Wait, you mean you're planning to escape?
Of course.
Which that's kind of completely against what Phi has been saying every other time, is that Phi has been indicating to everyone that she planned on escaping after everybody had 9 BP and saving everybody.
If you don't come with us, you're going to be stuck here for the rest of your life.
Why? If you just wait until everyone's got 9 BP.
I can't do that.
Why?
Do they think Dio's going to stick around once he's got enough points to split? You got to make a choice here.
Would there be a way to go and grab Luna's bracelet and use her bracelet to vote betray? I don't think so.
The number 9 door is only going to open once. If you pick ally and Clover does too, then you only have 8 points. I promise you Dio's gonna make a break for it as soon as he can. If you want to have any chance of getting out, you need those 3 points. Now.
It would be really surprising if they chose not to betray, and it was Dio's choice, not Fi's. So if I want to get out, I have to betray Clover. Right. Why are you telling me this? How do you know? How do I know you didn't just tell Clover the same thing?
To Clover? I'd have about as much luck talking to a potato right now. The truth is, I want you to come with me.
Interesting. Nice that Fi still kind of feels like she might be the love interest, but they haven't gone very deep in that at all. Why?
Know that you're important somehow.
Maybe she is getting more information from different timelines, or maybe she was entered the game in the first place to rescue you. You just know, huh? Well, did you tell Kay? He's got 6 points right now too, you know.
I haven't talked to him. He's playing against Tenmyoji. Tenmyoji's only got 1 point left.
So if he chose ally, he's gonna get penalized.
Exactly.
1 minute remains until Ambidex Game polling closes.
This might be a scenario when we do betray that we will get to see what's on the other side of the number 9 door, but then we still end up dying.
It's almost time. Remember what I said. You have to choose betray.
Okay, she looked at me in the eye until I nodded, then turned and jogged to her door. So we're just going to straight up and start, and there's no reason not to go with the ally move first. Is Clover really going to choose ally? If she does, then all I have to do is choose betray, and then I'm out of here. No, I promised I'd choose ally, so that's what I'm going to do. But Dio's almost certainly going to have 9 BPs after this round. If he gets out, I'm going to be stuck here forever.
10 seconds remain until Ambidex Game polling closes.
And yeah, I get the whole idea of these Ambidex games trying to be like nerve-wrenching decisions. Damn it, what the hell am I supposed to do?
2, 1.
But since you're just playing a video game, it's real easy to just choose one, since you know you're also going to go through all the timelines. So we'll ally first. It'd be interesting if ally actually puts us on the right path, because it kind of feels like the topmost selection always puts you on the leftmost path.
Results will be displayed in the warehouse.
So it'd be funny if it turns out that Kay actually did kill Tomoya.
Thank you for your participation.
But then
Ambidex Games
that would be
now
3, maybe 4 people escaping out of 9. The door ground open and I stepped out. All around me, other AB rooms were disgorging their occupants. Wait. Dio. Fi's voice echoed hollowly across the room. I followed her eyes to the number 9 door. And to Dio. So he's just going to immediately run to the door. Dio, so he's going for it. I broke into a run, hoping foolishly that I might be able to catch him.
No, he's going to try and open it.
So it has come to this then.
What's going on?
So unless Kay can just kill Dio or anyone else can overpower him, seems like you're just gonna get a bad ending.
He hasn't even seen the results yet.
Took only seconds for Tomoji and Kay to explain the math to her.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly.
I wonder if he pulled the handle before the announcer said that line, whether it would have counted.
Check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points.
The announcer's voice hadn't even faded when Dio reached the door. With a grunt, he swung the lever down. Well, they did betray. They did get 9 points. It may have been smarter for Phi to have tricked him and actually allied.
Yes. It's opening.
So we've seen Kay betray us. We've seen Dio betray us.
Wait!
There's no point in trying to stop him now. The door has already opened.
But
I mean, the only thing that could be different here is you could potentially try and stop him from escaping also, just out of spite. Dio leapt through the door without so much as a backward glance. Phi paused in front of it, then turned to look at me.
What happened?
What happened? I chose ally. I made a promise. Clover trusted me. Sigma.
I see. Makes sense.
Hmm.
I guess that's how this ends then. You had to make a choice that was right for you.
Yep.
And now, I have to make the choice that's right for me.
Yep.
Bye. Sigma.
Just straight goodbye. Now, did Clover betray, and is she gonna run? Phi turned, her eyes sad, and followed Dio through the door. And I guess Clover also allied, which is surprising because I think in other timelines she betrayed. Either that or Clover does have 9 points right now and it doesn't matter.
9 door has closed. This ends the Nonary Game. Thank you for your participation. As the game is over,
Same old dialogue
escape
at the end.
is not please enjoy.
Let's go ahead and
your
skip this. Dot 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 dot.
There's nothing we can do now.
We can only hold out hope that help will arrive.
Well, the good news is with Dio leaving, you know at least one murderer has left.
Sigma, thank you
Clover thanks you. Maybe she'd give you more information.
for choosing ally.
Yeah. Well, a promise is a promise, right?
What about Luna, Alice, and the old woman? Who killed them?
Good questions.
One of the people who just escaped.
Maybe. Or maybe one of us.
Well, there's one other person.
Oh yeah.
God. Quark.
Quark.
You're right. I still have to find Quark.
Suddenly full of energy, Timoya leapt up and took off for one of the warehouse exits. That left only myself, Clover, and Kay, who stared at the number 9 door in silence. It would have never opened again. What else could we do but stare? Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're gonna get any more stories. Any more story there. Game over. Bad ending. So hit A. I feel like there should probably be a background image there of something. Most games that would have multiple bad endings almost certainly would have some custom art to reward you for getting the bad ending, even if it was a repeated custom piece of art. So now we're up to an artificial 51 hours that this game has been left running. And that took us to the left. And that was a dead end. So we can jump back here. And the system encountered an error. Not super surprising there, frankly. That it would almost certainly, obviously, crash almost any game that has even the smallest of RAM memory leaks if you leave it running for 51 hours. And I've seen this happen in a lot of other games. So we might as well end this recording here. And in the next recording, we'll be back up and we'll be on the main menu. I guess we can potentially swap out to the Japanese and play around with that. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.